very much for the introduction. I hope you had a very nice first day and enjoyed the first talks. I sadly missed the afternoon session, but I'll make sure to rewatch it as soon as it's online. And also today we're going to have 7 interesting talks. Maybe first a little introduction.
I cannot hear anything.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, it's okay, thank you.
Okay, perfect. Just wanted to introduce myself a little bit. I'm from the TU Dresden, and I'm just started my PhD under the supervision of Anke Karloch. And it's going to be my first conference talk here, and I'm excited to join the positive community. And that's enough about me. I think we should start now with the first talk because it's already time to start. And the first talk is going to be by Emmanuel Lebinet about risk measures in finance. And yes, enjoy the talk, and it's your turn now, Dr. Lebinet.
Thank you so much. So I'm pleased to attend this conference online, and I'm very pleased because I can meet by this way my friends from Tunisia, even if I cannot share mind tea, it will be fine. Okay, so I'm gonna share my screen. I think it's done. Now I hope so that you can see my screen. So the topic I'm gonna talk about is risk measures in finance, the construction in the world set L0. This theory of risk measures in mathematical finance is motivated by the problem of regulation in the banking sector to avoid in particular bankruptcies and actually more than bankruptcies because of the strong and many interconnections between the banks. Then the regulator wants to avoid bankruptcies just because he wants to avoid a financial crisis, as we have, for instance, observed in 2008. In mathematics, before talking about mathematics, I would like to add that this is a very important topic for regulators, of course, but actually the story of risk measures started in 1988 by the famous Basel Accords. Okay, and since then, these Basel Accords improved. Now we are about to see the fourth one. For the moment, there were, but in 1988 it was the first Basel Accords, which have been written on, especially to oblige banks to be more careful about the risk they take. Okay, so in mathematics, this gave rise to the concept of risk measure. The most popular one is the value at risk, introduced by the banks in USA around 1980, in particular by JP Morgan. From a mathematical viewpoint, we consider a complete stochastic basis, omega FTP. That is, omega is a set of all possible future states of the market, financial market, between now, time 0, and a time horizon, capital T, for instance, capital T equals 1 year in general. For so FT now, FT is a family of sigma algebra. Sigma algebra is a subfamily, a family of subsets of omega, suddenly you know in probability. So for every T, FT is a sigma algebra describing the information available on the market at time T. This is why it's naturally the sigma algebras are increasing, because you have more and more information, so that ft1 is included in ft2 for every t1 smaller than t2. Moreover, for many technical reasons, we generally assume that ft at any time contains the negligible sets for the probability measure p, that is the sets so that the weight given by p is 0. And actually, it is well known that from any sigma algebra, it is possible actually to enlarge any sigma algebra so that it contains negligible sets for p. Okay, so now I'm gonna just a minute, please, to open the second slide. Now I'm gonna introduce the definition of a risk measure. A risk measure, for me, this is a dynamic risk measure, OSSV, that is a collection of mappings indexed on t time between 0 and capital T. So a collection of mappings rho t from a subspace dt of L0 into the set of all ft measurable variables satisfying some condition. Recall that L0 is a set of all f capital T measurable random variables equipped with a topology of convergence in probability, so that L0 is a metric space. Okay, so at any time we require that rho t satisfies the following property. First, as I told you, for every t and for every random variable x in the domain of rho t of x is ft measurable, meaning that rho t of x actually may be computed at time t. At time t, when a random variable is f small t measurable, then it is no more uncertain. You observe the f small t random variables at time small t. Okay. Then you require some properties like rho t of 0 is 0, monotonicity property, that is x smaller than x prime implies rho t of x greater than rho t of x primes, some so-called cache invariance, rho t of x plus mt equals minus mt plus rho t of x if mt is a f small t measurable random variable. Recall that rho t small t is computed at time t, and at time t, any f small t measurable random variable m small t may be seen as a constant at time t, because observable at time t. And at last, sub-activity condition, so that, okay, that is when you aggregate two positions like x plus x prime, then the risk measure associated to this sum is smaller than the sum. I'm gonna interpret you all these conditions very soon. Moreover, we say that rho is coherent when you have the positive homogeneity condition that you know very well, but for any non-negative multiplier, which is f t measurable, it is normal because rho t is computed at time t, and as I told you, this is as if kt were constant in some way. Okay, so some conditions that a priori are whether abstract, theoretical for the moment. In the classical literature, the usual domain for rho t at time t is a set of all random variables which are bounded, that is in L infinity. That is, there is a constant so that absolute value, maybe I can write a little here, x belongs to L infinity, means that the norm that depends on, or absolute value in general, that depends on the values taken by x, is smaller than some constant c almost surely, okay, where for some constant c. Okay, this is a definition of X infinity. Okay, so this is the usual domain of definition for risk measure. I sent you to some classical results done by Vollmer, Delbaen, Hartzner, among other people working on risk measures. Okay, so next slide. Interpretation of the risk measure ρT at time t. The goal of the regulation is to oblige banks to make some reserves of cash to avoid failures, bankruptcies, as I told you. So each regulator defines a set AT of financial positions X that are only known at terminal debt at time capital T, that are considered as acceptable in a sense that we have to define. Precisely, it is generally defined by the regulator. Then, ρT of X is interpreted as an amount of cash computable at time small t, such that when added to X, ρT of X plus X is acceptable at time t. Here, X should be interpreted as the value at time capital T of the bank's assets. Okay, so a bank have different investments, and then the banks has to have an idea about what should be the liquidation value of all the investment. And the problem is when at the end the terminal liquidation value is negative, because it means bankruptcy. And so to avoid bankruptcy, because if there is bankruptcy in some banks, then that could imply bankruptcies for other banks or other interconnected companies, and this is what leads to financial crisis in general. And so this is a problem. So I insist on the fact that yes, ρT of X is amount of cash you compute at time t and you let aside as a reserve of cash, so that at the end, when you face your terminal liquidation value, then you may add this amount of cash, so that now the terminal, the total sum is now acceptable. That is acceptable in the sense that I should avoid a bankruptcy. Let us see first an example. This is a famous value at risk at level alpha, say for example 5%. In that case, X is acceptable, means that the probability that X is non-negative is greater than 1 minus alpha, so here 95%. So that means that if X is considered as a terminal wealth at time capital T for some company X, then you should avoid a bankruptcy in 95% of the cases. Okay, so that's very simple. For instance, so now the amount of cash you should have in reserve is ρT of X, that when added to your terminal liquidation value, then the sum ρT of X plus X is acceptable if and only if the probability that ρT of X plus X is greater than 0 is 95% at least, or equivalently, X should be greater than minus ρT of X. Okay, so in this distribution, for instance, in the case where the density function of the distribution of X is like this, then precisely because here you have continuities, then you may compute this red area equals to 5%, and then you deduce here minus ρT of X as a quantile. Okay, so in that case, this is very easy to compute the value at risk. And what you can say is that letting aside this amount of cash at the end, at time capital T, when added to what to your liquidation value, then okay, you have a financial position which is good in 95% because it is non-negative, and so avoid bankruptcy. I hope I am clear. I am clear. So, okay, let us pursue. So what we can say is that rho t of x may be also seen as a maximal loss the bank may face in 95% of the cases. And in general, for example, in the company try to compute this maximal loss they should face through, for instance, historical data, or other possibilities. They have some models to have an idea about the future wealth they should have regarding their investments, and then through models, Monte Carlo simulations, then they try to estimate rho t of x. As I told you, the classical case of the literature is when the domain of definition is L infinity, a set of all bounded variables, and when there are only two steps. That is, you compute the reserve at time 0, that is now for an horizon the debt capital T. This is a classical setting. In that case, rho is not dynamic as I introduced before, but just rho equals rho 0. And we say that rho satisfies the Fatou property if rho of x is smaller than the limit infimum of rho of x, if xn is a sequence converging to x in probability. Okay, this is actually, as you can see, a lower semi-continuity property. In the following, we denote by P the set of all, we consider the set of all probability measures which are absolutely continuous with respect to the fixed historical probability measure P fixed in the beginning. And we have this famous theorem. This is very famous because it is the beginning of the story about risk measures in mathematical finance, written by Delbahn in 2002 on the set L infinity. Suppose that rho, so is coherent, that is positively homogeneous and satisfies the Fatou property. Then there exists a dual representation of the risk measure through a family of absolutely continuous probability measures with respect to P I call R. Okay, precisely for any bounded random variables, you can compute rho of x as a supremum of the expectation of minus x under the representing probability measures Q. Okay, so this is a very famous theorem. Actually, to prove this theorem, the idea is to use, of course, a duality. Maybe you are not surprised. Duality between here L infinity and L1. You know this famous duality sigma L infinity L1. Okay, so this is the idea. Next slide. Now, I would like to mention that in general, there is a relation between the risk measure and the acceptance set, or at least on L infinity. Indeed, as I told you, rho of x needs to be seen as an amount of cash you add to your position so that you get something which is acceptable. Naturally, the idea is to choose rho of x as the minimal cash C you need to add to x so that you have something acceptable. Why? You generally choose the infimum reserve you can compute because the banks actually in general, the investors more generally, do not like to let aside cash, because they prefer to invest their money in assets with better returns. Because when I am saying that this rho f is the amount of cash you have to let aside, this means that you have to let it aside without investing in it in risky assets, so that you may mainly say that the return for your reserve rho of x is 0. at least the non-risky asset. As you know, now the non-risky return in the financial market is almost zero. Okay, so this is not interesting for the banks, so that they want to reduce as much as possible the value of X, so that you have naturally this. And in that case, you have another representation for what you call the acceptable positions. As the set of all acceptable positions is given by the set of all random variables, such that rho of X is negative. Of course, there is also a link between the two of them, but recall that naturally the acceptable positions are decided by the regulator. Now the proof of this is rather easy. If rho of X is negative, then you may rewrite X like this, and because minus of rho of X is positive, X is greater than this. Then actually for the acceptance sets, we naturally suppose that this is an upper set. That is, if a position is acceptable to prevent bankruptcy, then a larger position is naturally also acceptable. Okay, so by this way, X being greater than this position which is acceptable, X is also acceptable. And reciprocally, if X is acceptable, it means that 0 plus X is acceptable, and because of this definition, rho of X is smaller than 0. Okay, because this is a minimal amount of money, you need to add 2X for the position to be acceptable. At last, another remark I'd like to say, from the dual representation we have seen before, okay, then a position X is acceptable if and only if the expectation of X is non-negative under any probability measure Q representing the risk measure. In particular, if the set of representing probability measure R is reduced to the singleton P, the initial probability measure, then it's easy to be acceptable. That is, in that case, X is acceptable if and only if the expectation of the P of X is non-negative. And this is a very weak condition, so that you accept a lot of positions to be acceptable. And that's not necessarily good, actually, because that means that the value of rho of X should be very, very small, because it's easy to be acceptable, so that maybe it's not enough with respect to the possibility of bankruptcy. So generally, we require some stronger conditions for X to be acceptable, so that you require for rho of X to be larger. This is actually the policy followed by the regulators through the Basel Accords, that is requiring more and more actually cash reserves. Okay. Now, the problems, mathematical problems we have with respect to the risk measures are in particular the following. First, how to construct a risk measure on the whole space L0. Okay, because there is a definition I gave you that is precisely this one. Okay, this is the initial definition. For instance, in a paper by Czerny consider risk measures defined on L0, but it directly admits dual representations. And the problem we have is about the integration condition, because this is not clear whether expectation of minus X exists under any such a Q, so that there is a convention in that case which is decided, that is, as you know, expectation of the Q of minus X could be seen as expectation of X minus 1 minus expectation of X plus, but we can meet some problems, so we adopt this convention, infinity minus infinity equals simple infinity. Okay. And now, natural question, imagine that you have a risk measure on L0. Do we have a dual representation of L0? That's not so clear, contrarily to infinity, where we may use a duality between infinity and L1. This is why we propose a general construction on L0 as follows. So this is done. This is something I present to you now from a paper I wrote with a former PhD student in China. So we decide to construct a dynamic risk measure from the set of all acceptance sets. Precisely, a dynamic acceptance set is a family AT of non-empty subsets of random variables, which are F capital T measurable, satisfying some properties, here stable under addition, monotony condition, that is, if a random variable X is acceptable, then any larger random variable is also acceptable. The random variable at time t which are acceptable are those which are non-negative, okay? Because be careful, a position which is acceptable at time small t is not f small t measurable. At time t, this means that you have an idea about what your terminal positions should be, okay? And then with respect to the information f small t you have, you decide what's the which one are acceptables or not, okay? And at least we suppose that AT is actually a cone with respect to the multiplication with non-negative f small t measurable random variables. Okay, so some natural conditions for risk measure. So for people working with orders, you can indeed see AT as a set of positive points, okay, but at time t. Now, so we say that any element of AT, of course, is acceptable at time t, and for every random variable x, we introduce this set ATX of all position CT, which are f small t measurable, that is computable at time t, so that when added to x, this is acceptable. We have already introduced this concept. And then ATX sometimes may be empty, of course. So we denote by domain of AT the set of all random variable x such that this set is non-empty. Okay, domain of FT is a set of all x, f capital T measurable, so that this set is non-empty. And then this is the domain for our coherent risk measure we shall define. For a given dynamic acceptance set, we define the coherent risk measure associated to this set of acceptable positions at time t as the essential infimum of this family ATX of random variables. You know, certainly, I don't know, the essential infimum is of a family of random variables is a random variables that can be seen as the minimal elements with respect to the order between random variables defined as a random variable x is smaller than y, means that the probability that x smaller than y equals 1. Okay, so this is the minimal, but of course, essential infimum of ATX does not belong necessarily to ATX. We may say essential infimum of ATX as a larger random variable, which is below ATX. Okay, so we observe, this is an interpretation, rho Tx is actually the minimal FT measurable capital requirement we add to the position x for it to be acceptable at time t. So this is the definition, and then rho T is a priori for the moment only defined on its domain of AT. Okay, we say that rho T is a dynamic coherent risk measure. Okay, and we can check all these properties I've introduced before. Okay, and moreover, if we suppose that the acceptance sets are closed, then rho t is a lower semi-continuous that satisfies the Fatou property, and we may also show that the acceptance sets at t at t has this classical representation as in the usual case of the literature when the risk measure is defined on L infinity. Now the goal is to extend this risk measure to the whole set L0. This is a classical maybe construction, difficult to say for if you know this kind of construction, but maybe yes.
Actually, Dr. Levinet, excuse me, can you please come to an end with the presentation?
Yes, it's already soon almost the end. Okay.
Right.
Okay. So now the goal is to extend the risk measure. So actually, we consider for a given position all the FT measurable elements of the situation f small t, such that x, when restricted to ft, belongs to the domain. And then we may show that for any x, there is a largest element for x. So that now, after having proven that outside this largest element, then we may prove that it is, how to say, possible to extend the risk measure by plus or minus infinity. So this is a mathematical construction. So that, okay, I don't have time to give all the details, but by this way, with some conventions, indeed, I would like to say that we have succeeded in extending the risk measure to L0 first, and then we have proved the same properties than in the usual case, that is these ones, and moreover, also in a recent paper, we have succeeded in getting also, under some mid conditions, a dual representation for the risk measure on the whole set L0. Okay, so this is just stop now. So thank you. Thank you for this presentation. I was thinking that I have too much time, but finally no. Thank you.
Thank you very much for the nice talk. Now we still have some time for questions, so just feel free to unmute and ask a question if you have one.
I have a question.
Yes.
Binet, why are you working every time in L0? In the space? No?
That's all extension, because actually there is no reason for the practitioners to suppose that X belongs to infinity first. There's no reason. I mean, for instance, when you work with the classical setting infinity, then you suppose that your acceptable positions are bounded. So, for instance, you do not accept a position X positive as acceptable. That's crazy, actually. If a position is bounded, for instance, that is belongs to infinity, you have something positive, then you cannot compute the risk of this because it is not in infinity. So you cannot compute this. And normally, you should be able to say that this position is also acceptable and this is negative. So there is a natural problem in the definition of a risk measure defined on infinity. This is not natural from a mathematical viewpoint.
Thank you.
Okay. What I could add maybe is that you can see behind this theory, we may see some orders, actually. So maybe it could be interesting for some of you.
Are there any other questions?
Okay, so thank you.
No? Okay, everyone seems to be happy. So thank you again for your nice talk. And we have a short 5-minute break, and then we continue with the next talk. So just grab a drink, make yourself comfortable, and then we will be back in 5 minutes.